Welcome to the Risk Forever channel guys, channel which shares the most relevant tips and tricks on how to win at Risk, and improve your rank in no time. Subscribe to the channel and you won't even see how fast you will become so much better at Risk. Push that notification bell to see new videos first. This is your host ChampionEver. And today I'm going to give a very important tip when it comes to fixed cards. It is, know when you can afford taking another player out of the game. Keep in mind that the word afford doesn't have the same meaning as the word can. Sometimes you can take someone out of the game without suiciding and staying alive in the game, even though technically troop-wise it doesn't look as a great decision at all, but what you didn't take into the account is that you became the weakest player by yourself. At the time same you became the player who isn't needed for the balance of the game to be sustained, so after that you can very likely become the player who will be taken out next. And now, when it comes to the word afford, it means that after taking another player out of the game, you will still be alive, but at the same time you will still be the player who is needed for the balance of the game to be sustained, so no chance you will be taken out next, unless someone decides to suicide on you. Now let me illustrate the difference between the words can and afford with the two game examples. This is the first situation. The purple player is very desperate to take someone out of the game. And since I'm the weakest player, he decided to go for me, the red player. But is it really a wise decision? As I said, to know that, you must answer to the two questions. The first one is, will you be able to survive after taking that another player out? And yes, the purple player after taking me out has even 49 troops army, and the balance of the game is sustained. What I mean is that none of the players have the same number of troops as the rest of the players combined. And now let's answer to the second question, which is, will he still be the player who is needed for the balance of the game to be sustained? And the answer is no. Now any of the players, either green, blue or yellow, can totally afford taking the purple player out without ruining the balance of the game, and at the same time staying the player who is needed for the balance of the game to be sustained by themselves. As you saw, the green player was the player who has taken down the biggest purple's army. But can someone, either blue or yellow, afford taking the green player out of the game? The answer is no. If the blue player takes out green, then the yellow player wins. And if the yellow player takes out green, then the blue player wins. So after taking the purple player out of the game, well, not completely taking him out, but completely destroying him, the green player is still totally safe and the game goes on. And now let me show you another game example, in which it was totally worth taking the weakest player out, even though technically troops-wise it didn't look as a great decision at all. In this current game, the weakest player was orange. He tried getting North America, but since nobody let him do that, he had no other choice but just to combine his troops to one big army and hope for the best of other players making drastic mistakes of destroying themselves too much. But to have the orange player in the game for me was quite fun. I was the player who gets the biggest amount of troops every turn, while I was getting not too many troops comparing to others. I was getting 8 troops, while the yellow player was getting 7, and the blue player was getting 6. To not let the blue player become too strong by capturing North America, I was building one big army in Greenland. And to not let the yellow player to become too strong by capturing Asia, the orange player was floating with his biggest army in it. But then the orange player started to attacking me into Europe, and that started really pissing me off. To get 3 troops isn't the same as 8. So if I had abandoned Europe, then eventually I wouldn't have been as strong as the yellow and blue players anymore. So I started asking myself, can I afford taking the orange player out? I knew what I could, but the real question whether I could afford doing that. And the answer was yes. After taking the orange player out, I had enough troops to be alive, and at the same time I didn't ruin the balance of the game. Neither yellow player had the same number of troops as me and blue combined, nor the blue player had the same amount of troops as me and yellow combined. Also, I still stayed as the player who is needed for the balance of the game to be sustained. I was behind yellow and blue troops-wise, but look guys. If the yellow player takes me out of the game, then the blue player wins, and if the blue player takes me out of the game, then the yellow player wins the game. So I knew that I was totally safe taking the orange player out of the game. Additionally, I noticed that both of the players, blue and yellow, were very greedy. The blue player wasn't satisfied of having South America and was trying to expand to Africa and North America, while the yellow player wasn't satisfied of having Australia and was craving to have the whole Asia. So I knew that after taking the orange player out, there will be very high odds of the blue and yellow players fighting each other. And I was right, both of them being very greedy weren't satisfied of each other getting all of these continents. So they started drastically attacking each other. The conflict between them grew even stronger and they were attacking each other even more and more. They didn't even realize when the balance of the game was broken and I had more troops than both of them combined. So as soon as I saw that I can take both of them out in a single turn, I stopped turtling in Europe and fortified my whole very big army out of it. And yeah, the very next turn I completely took both of them out of the game, getting a very easy win. As always, special shout out goes to the members of the Risk Forever channel. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, then I would recommend checking some of these out as well. Watching more videos will help you progress faster.